It's a set of two questions based obviously on speed, time, distance, as you would have noticed. Says Ram and Sham run a race between 2 points A and B, 5 kilometers apart. Right? They are separated by a distance of 5 kilometers. Now, let's look at one condition at a time. Ram starts at 9 a.m. from A at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour and reaches B and returns to A at the same speed. So at 9, this fellow is here. Speed of Ram is 5 kmph, right? So he's traveling this entire distance, correct, and coming back with the same speed. Okay, that's that, and returns with the same speed. So that's what is mentioned here. Next, Sham starts at 9:45 from A at a speed of 10 kmph and returns to B, reaches B and comes back to A with the same speed, obviously. So therefore, you've got another person starting 45 minutes late, so 3/4 of an hour late, correct? So therefore, he's starting with what speed? He's starting with the speed of 10 kmph. Now, what is expected is we're supposed to find the time at which both of them meet. Okay, so this is the interesting bit. Now, friends, you could solve such questions using your typical calculations as you know, as you might have been taught or you might have learned in speed, time, distance. Nothing wrong with it. But one of the more efficient ways of solving such questions is by proceeding through the options. So if you look at the options, the very first one says it gives you a reference point, which is 10 a.m. Okay, so if you look at an hour later, and the picture that you can possibly see is 1 hour later at a speed of 5 kmph. With the speed of 5 kmph, after 1 hour, Ram will cover 5 kilometers, correct? Whereas if you look at Sham, he has he's beginning his journey at 9:45. So from 9:45 to 10 would be a span of 15 minutes. Okay, so this would be a span of 15 minutes. So in a span of 15 minutes, which is 1/4 of an hour, how much distance would he cover? He would cover 2.5 kilometers. Correct? So I hope this is clear. So now Ram has reached the other end, which is 5 kilometers. Whereas in context of Sham, he will also be able to cover half the distance, not the entire distance, half the distance in a span of 15 minutes because his speed is double that of Ram. So now they are here, obviously, so therefore option A is eliminated because 10 a.m. they are separated still by a distance of 2.5 kilometers. Now, what does the question expect you to know? When is it that they meet? So now this is when Ram will head towards the return, is traveling towards point A back. So on his return journey, right? So what is the separation distance? They're separated by a distance of 2.5 kilometers. So the time to meet obviously would be the separation distance, which is d separation upon the relative speed. So what's the relative speed? It's the sum of speeds, obviously, because the objects are moving in opposite directions. They're moving towards each other. 2.5 is the distance by which they are separated. If you notice, they're separated by a distance of 2.5. So 2.5 is the separation distance. And what's the sum of speeds, which is 10 plus 5, which is 15 kmph. Correct? So 2.5 by 15, 1 by 6. 1 by 6 would in turn be 1/6 of an hour. 1/6 of an hour would mean 10 minutes. So therefore the answer is 10:10. The next question is at what time, rest of the data remaining same, at what time does Sham overtake Ram? Now this is interesting, and again you need to smartly make use of options or understand how to arrive at the answer faster as compared to when you traditionally frame equations and solve them. Nothing wrong with that, but just check the time that you would take otherwise. So now when you've already reached here, you've used or made use of the information given to you previously. These two people would meet at 10:10. So therefore, in a span of 10 minutes, how much would both of them cover? First, let's understand that. By 10:10, both of them have met, as we saw in the previous question. How much distance has he covered? Because they're taking 10 minutes, right? So 10 minutes is 1/6 of an hour, correct? So you have the first person covering a distance of 10 by 6. So the distance covered by Sham would be 10 divided by 6. So what is 10 by 6? 10 by 6 is 5 by 3. So this is the distance that he would cover. What is the distance covered by Ram in the same time? In the same time, he would cover a distance of 2.5 by 3. Okay. So therefore, or it would be with a speed of 5 in 10 minutes, it would be 5/6 of an hour. So essentially 5 by 3, 2.5 by 3. Okay. So this is the distance covered by Ram. Okay. Now, Sham covers this remaining part of the distance, correct? In how much time? He's covering this distance in how much time? In 5 minutes. Because if you notice, this part is 5 by 3 and this part is 2.5 by 3. Exactly half, and his speed is double. So therefore, if he has taken 10 minutes to reach from here to here, if he covers this distance in a span of 10 minutes, half the distance he will cover in how much time? He will cover in 5 minutes, so which is half the time. Okay. Now, let's proceed further. And in this span, in the next 5 minutes, where does Ram move? He moves further by 1.25 by 3 kilometers, because this span he had covered, this span was 10 minutes. He took 10 minutes to cover 2.5 by 3 kilometers. So he will take he will take 5 minutes to cover another 1.25 by 3 kilometers. So just understand that this time is 10 and the second bit of the time is 5. So in half the time he'll cover half the distance, because it is the same speed with which he's traveling. Now, if you actually understand that on a straight line and try to plot it, if Sham is here, when Sham is here, Ram is at a distance of 3.75 by 3, which is 1.25 kilometers from him. So now this is when the chase starts happening. He is headed towards this direction, and so is Ram. When will they meet? They will meet when, the time taken to meet would be again the distance of separation upon the relative speed. What is the relative speed here? The relative speed here is 10 minus 5, because they're moving in the same direction from here, and he's also heading towards point A. What is 1.25 by 5? It is 0.25 of an hour. What is 0.25 of an hour? It is 15 minutes. So 15 minutes after 10:15. Remember this, 15 minutes after 10:15 would be 10:30. Okay.